If my flight situation in Brisbane didn't happen and instead was in Europe and regulated by EU flight regulations, I would have probably have been completely fine. But reality was I was dealing with Australian flight regulations, and they are not so kind. It's more like a wild frontier, wild west of airline regulations out in Oz. So let's now today go through what would have happened in this hypothesis per se of what would have happened if Brisbane and Australia was regulated by the same tight and incredibly consumer-friendly EU flight laws. Let's get into it. But before we do, give the video a big fat thumbs up. Let's get into it. So, for those who are brand new to the channel or who have arrived recently, I had a massive flight situation in Brisbane not too long ago when I was in Australia. The vlogs are here on the channel. You guys can go and check them out. So, I was basically stranded in an airport overnight. The airline completely messed up big time. It was Qantas and then Virgin the following day. Both of them absolutely fully messed up. And yes, it was primarily down to the weather. I know that sparked a bit of heated debate in the comment section of one of my previous shorts. But it was horrific. I've never had so many things go wrong in quick succession that did go wrong. Basically, the fundamentals was the fact that I was due to fly to Sydney, from Brisbane to Sydney, and I got to Brisbane International Airport. I went into the domestic terminal, I checked in, I did all that, and then there was a random thunderstorm. It was expected, but not to be this severe or this strong. And I understand, in response to the comments of one of the previous videos, that the airlines are doing the best to keep us safe. I 100% understand this. It was just bad because the flight kept getting... I think my original departure time was probably somewhere close to... I'm pretty sure it was close to 7 p.m, maybe. The flight got bumped 3 times up until about 8:30, and then it was just cancelled around 9. It was fully called off. And then absolute hell broke loose with people basically hounding the Qantas desk and going, what's going on, what's happening, etc. And pretty much they could get everyone on a flight, but in 2 days' time. And I didn't have any accommodation or anything along those lines. So basically what happened was I ended up sleeping overnight at the airport, and to cut a long story short, I covered it all in a podcast. It'll be somewhere up here. But I got a Virgin flight the following morning. That cancelled as well. I then flew with Virgin again down to Newcastle and trained it down to Sydney, and then they lost my bag on top of all of that, so nightmare. But if I was under EU flight regulations, Qantas would have had to do so much more. They would have had to give you cash. I think that it would probably be the equivalent of 200 to 500 euros, I think. They would have had to provide you a hotel and transport back to the airport from said hotel and rebook you on another flight. And basically they take the stress off of you from rebooking everything. And that's why I love European airline regulations. And if they even can't get you, they will always in Europe try and get you to your final destination, even if it's on a partnered airline. So even if, for example, say per se, Qantas, in this example, weren't flying, under EU regulation, they may have passed me off to Virgin or Jetstar if they were flying. So they would always try and get you on a plane if possible. But they basically, with Australian flight regulations at the minute, they've just basically come up with a system very similar to America where they go, companies, make your own rules up. And that's pretty much what happens. The companies make their own rules up, and it's kind of a wild west of what happens. You're on your own, basically, with the system. The airline will do the bare minimum. They will rebook you on another flight. That's it. It may not be the flight you want. It may not be as quick as you want, but you're going. And I found it completely unacceptable, the fact that they had a rebooked flight, but in 2 days' time. That was stupid. Get me on a flight next day. And that's where EU regulation should have slid in. Not that Australia goes by that. And could have gone, right, Qantas doesn't have any seats. Let's check Virgin and Jetstar and see if they're flying at all. But that's not how it works, unfortunately. But I wish it did. So this is kind of a call for action for the Aussie government to get their airline regulations in place. But without further ado, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your worst airline experience is in the comment section down below, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out, guys.